you would call the roll.
Yes, sir. So when I call your name, please announce that you are present. Chairman Lackey,
Present.
Don Crohan,
Present.
Robin Baldry,
Present.
Steve Lane,
Present.
Beth Lathers, Keith McCord,
Did you ask for me, Mike?
Keith McCord.
I got a lot of background noise here, but yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Sammy McCoy,
Present.
Brian Richter, you with us, Brian Richter? Rhonda Rose,
Present.
Eddie Sanders.
Yeah, here.
Are there any planning commissioners present that I did not just call? Okay, Mr. Chairman, we do have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Staff announcements.
Yes, sir. I do have some announcements. It's Mike Madison again.
I'm sorry, Mike. This is Christy Ransom. We need to have a motion that declares that you're a necessity because of COVID-19.
Chair will entertain that motion.
Don Crohan, I'll make that motion.
Spell it out.
Because of COVID-19, we are not be able to meet in person, so this meeting will be virtual.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Mike, call a roll.
Yes, sir. Don Crohan,
Yes.
Robin Baldry,
Yes.
Steve Lane,
Yes.
Beth Lathers, Keith McCord,
Yes.
Sammy McCoy,
Yes.
Brian Richter, are you here? Rhonda Rose,
Yes.
Eddie Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Now to agenda 3, announcements by the staff. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, Chairman Lackey, I've got a few announcements. The first is that we do have a number of members of the public, excuse me, on this call, including 14 people who have signed up by the deadline to speak at one of the public hearings. And so I would just ask everybody, if you would please keep your microphone on mute until the time during the public hearing when Chairman Lackey calls your name to speak. Also, let you know that we have reports in front of you for items 24, 30, and 32. Item 29 has been withdrawn. And then the last announcement that I have is that I'm sad to say that that Holly Gibbons has tendered her resignation from the Planning Commission due to some family health concerns that are taking priority for her right now. So she'll be stepping down, and I know I kind of speak for everyone in saying that Holly's been a tremendous member of the Planning Commission. She's been a great asset in her capacity as a Planning Commission member, and I know she'll continue to be involved in the community, and we'll miss working with her on the commission. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Consideration of the minutes of July 9, 2020. Any
Okay.
corrections?
Yeah. Don Crohan, I move we accept the minutes as written.
A second.
Robin Baldry, I second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Mike, call a roll.
Yes, sir. Don Crohan,
Yes.
Robin Baldry,
Yes.
Steve Lane,
Yes.
Keith McCord,
Yes.
Tammy McCoy,
Yes.
Rhonda Rose,
Yes.
Eddie Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Consideration of the consent agenda. Staff?
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman. This is
Mr.
Joe
Chairman,
Horn.
Troy.
Did you want to pull something for separate discussion?
Yes, sir. I'd
Which
like to pull
one?
item 23 and 24.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wants a separate discussion on an agenda item on consent? I hear none. Go ahead, staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll begin with item 3, Cartwright close, maintenance
Excuse
bond
me.
for road.
Excuse me, Joe, I apologize, but I wanted to ask, I thought I saw an email that someone wanted to recuse from the consent agenda, or did I miss that?
No, I didn't know when you needed that. Hey, Chairman Lackey, this is Keith McCord. I need to recuse on this item due to a conflict.
On the entire consent?
Consent agenda.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You are recused.
And so
Go ahead.
Commissioner McCord, if you will, during this agenda item, just close your screen for a minute and step away for a moment, please. Thank you.
It's closed.
Very good. Well, I'll start again. Item 3, Cartwright close, maintenance bond for roads, drainage and erosion control, $275,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 4, Falls Grove, Section 3, maintenance bond for roads, drainage and erosion control, $250,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 5, Farms at Clovercroft, Section 1, maintenance bond for roads, drainage and erosion control, $240,000. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 6, Hardeman Springs, Section 2, performance bond for landscaping, $52,100. Recommendation, extend in current amount for a period of 8 months. Item 7, Hardeman Springs, Section 2, performance bond for wastewater collection system, $112,000. Recommendation, extend in current amount for 1 year. Item 8, Hardeman Springs, Section 2, performance bond for water, $215,000. Recommendation, reduce the maintenance in the amount of $32,250 for 1 year. Item 9, Hardeman Springs, Section 2, performance bond for roads, drainage and erosion control, $683,000. Recommendation, extend in current amount for 1 year. Item 10, Hart's Landmark, maintenance bond for roads, drainage and erosion control, $150,000. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 11, Kings Chapel, Section 8, maintenance bond for water improvements, $90,700. Recommendation, release the bond on August 14, 2020. Item 12, Kings Chapel, Section 8, performance bond for wastewater collection system, $132,500. Recommendation, extend in current amount for 1 year. Item 13, Kings Chapel, Section 8, performance bond for roads, drainage and erosion control, $525,000. Recommendation, reduce the maintenance amount of $262,000 for 1 year. Item 14, McDaniel Farms Amenity Center, performance bond for landscaping, $14,100. Recommendation, extend in current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 15, McDaniel Estates, Section 2, performance bond for roads, drainage and erosion control, $661,000. Recommendation, extend in current amount for 1 year. Item 16, McDaniel Estates, Section 2, performance bond for wastewater collection system, $190,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for 1 year. Item 17, McDaniel Estates, Section 2, performance bond for water, $33,000. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 18, Stevens Valley, Section 2, performance bond for water and sewer, $71,078.20. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 19, Stevens Valley, Section 4, performance bond for water, $20,670.18. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 20, Stevens Valley, Section 4, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $473,000. Recommendation, extend the current amount for 1 year. Item 21, Stevens Valley, Section 6, performance bond for water, $100,205.40. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 22, Stevens Valley, Section 6, performance bond for sewer, $91,803.52. Recommendation, release the bond. Items 23 and 24 have been removed from the consent agenda. We'll drop down to item 25, Troubadour, Section 3, performance bond for wastewater collection, $87,750. Recommendation, extending current amount for 1 year. Item 26, maintenance of Dell Creek, maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $200,000. Recommendation, review of this bond in 3 months to require that all improvements be completed within this time frame, including all off-site and all record documents where the bond could be called. And item 27, Vineyard Valley wastewater area, performance bond for wastewater treatment disposal system, $100,800. Recommendation, extended current amount for 1 year.
Thank you, sir. Motion on consent.
Alan Cohen, I move we accept staff's recommendation.
Steve Lane, second.
Motion made and seconded. Call the roll, Joe. Wood, please.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes,
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane.
Yes.
I understand that Commissioner Richter is on the line, but having some technical issues, so I'll call his name just to see if he's resolved those. Brian Richter? Okay, I'm moving on. Rhonda Rose? Rhonda, I know that you've been with us.
Yes.
Thank you. Eddie Sanders
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Thank you. The motion carries. We'll go back to the pulled items. Agenda item 23, Temple Hills, Section 16, Phase C, maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control located off of Temple Road. Don?
yes, sir. My question is, this has been going on. I know this is in the old system, but since 2015, and I was wondering what is left to be done to complete this work.
Commissioner Crohan, this is William Andrews with the engineering department. We are in the process of getting all of the paperwork that is required for this project. All of the work has now been completed, and we have some documents that we need to receive. I would suspect that you will be seeing this back on the agenda in a few months with a recommendation to release the bond.
Okay, thank you. In that case, Mr. Chairman, I'll move to accept staff's recommendation on this.
A second? Is there a second?
Steve
I
Lane,
second
second.
it. It's Rob.
2 seconds. Motion made and seconded. Mike, call the roll.
Commissioner Crohan,
Yes,
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter, Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Now to agenda item 24, the Grove, Section 11, performance bonds for road drainage and erosion control located off Arnold Road. Don?
yes, sir. I think when they revised this, they left something in there where it says it'll be extended in its current amount for 1 year. I think we meant extend it for a period of 1 year in the new amount.
I don't have the revised report in front of me Floyd, do you have that, or Joe, do you have that? It should read that we visited the site, that improvements have been made, and staff recommends that it be converted to maintenance in the amount of $480,000 for a period of 1 year.
Correct. That's what but it says extend the current amount, and I just want to make sure that wouldn't cause a problem.
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's fine then.
Okay.
I'll move,
Motion.
we accept staff's recommendation on this one then.
Second.
Steve Lane,
Is there a
second.
Motion made and seconded. Mike?
Commissioner Crohan,
Yes,
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter, Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, under old business, agenda item 28, final plat review for Hillsborough Manor, large lot easement subdivision containing 3 lots on 15.26 acres located off Old Hillsborough Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Lincoln Sweet. The subject parcel is approximately 15 acres in size and is located off Old Hillsborough Road, approximately 634 feet from Old Charlotte Pike. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 3 lots off a new 50-foot ingress egress utilities easement. At this time, the applicant is requesting deferral to the September 2020 meeting to allow more time to address outstanding comments from county departments. Staff concurs with this request.
Thank you. Motion to defer.
on Crowan, I move to accept deferment.
Rhonda Rose seconds.
Motion made and seconded. Mike?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes,
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter, Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 29 is withdrawn. Agenda item 30, final plat review for Paytonsville Estates, large lot easement subdivision containing 6 lots on 46.66 acres located off Paytonsville Arnold Road in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Lincoln Sweet again. I'm reading from a revised report. The subject parcel is approximately 35 acres in size and is located off Paytonsville Arnold Road, approximately 3/4 of a mile east of Cool Springs Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 5 lots off an extended 50-foot ingress egress utilities easement and 1 lot on Paytonsville Arnold Road. In order to allow more time to address staff's comments, the applicant has requested deferral to the September 2020 meeting.
Deferral?
on Crowan, I move we accept referral.
Robin Baldry seconds.
Motion made and seconded. Mike?
Commissioner Crohan,
Yes,
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter, Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. We're into the public hearing section. For those of you online with us that are here to make comments, procedurally, we will give a staff report on that on that agenda item. And at its conclusion, I will call your name. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments, and I would appreciate it if you would try to adhere to that. The first one is concept plan review for called Fiddler's Glen, containing 81 lots on 182.03 acres located off of Murfreesboro Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
This is Aaron Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A concept plan for this development, which contained 130 lots, was approved in August of 2016 and has since expired. The applicant is now requesting approval of an 81-lot conservation subdivision in the Rural Development 1 zoning district. The review of a concept plan is the first stage in the development approval process. Because the concept plan contains more than 49 lots, a public hearing is required. Subject property totals approximately 182 acres and is located on Murfreesboro Road, approximately 1.25 miles west of the intersection of Murfreesboro Road and Nolensville Road, Horton Highway. The site contains a number of natural resources, including moderate and very steep slopes, wetlands, streams, and a large area of woodlands. Approximately 24% of the site is covered in tree canopy. The required 350-foot open space strip parallel to Murfreesboro Road and the required 150-foot open space strip around the perimeter of the property have been provided. The proposed development consists of 81 lots, which range in size from approximately 12,600 square feet to approximately 24,600 square feet. The overall density is 0.44 dwelling units per acre. 76% of the site will be preserved in open space and 69% of the existing tree canopy will be retained. Traffic shed analysis performed by the applicant indicates that the proposed number of lots is within acceptable limits based on the capacity of existing roadways. Access to the proposed development will be provided from a single entrance from Murfreesboro Road, and both left and right turn lanes are to be constructed at this entrance. Within the development, the applicant is requesting a right-of-way width of 40 feet in order to locate sidewalks outside of the right-of-way, a design speed of 25 miles per hour for internal roadways, and 12% slope for internal roadways. Staff is in support of these requests. Water service will be provided by Millcrofton Utility District. Wastewater will be handled via the Cox Slad treatment system, for which a revised site plan was approved at the May 2020 meeting to accommodate the capacity of this additional development. Approximately 8.5 acres of the site will be utilized for the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system, which includes the land application area. The proposed system will utilize recirculating sand filter technology to treat wastewater generated by the proposed subdivision. Certificate of Convenience and Necessity has been approved by the Tennessee Public Utilities Commission, and a draft state operating permit has been issued by the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. The design development report, as well as a revised detailed soils investigation report, were prepared by the applicant and submitted to the county. County's wastewater consultant has reviewed these reports and concluded that all zoning ordinance requirements related to the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system have been met. It should be noted that once detailed construction and engineering plans are prepared in conjunction with the submittal of a preliminary plat, changes to layout, including the potential for a reduction of lots and relocation of drainage infrastructure from buffer areas, may be necessary. A landscaping plan will also be required. Staff recommends approval of this concept plan, along with the request for a 40-foot right-of-way width, a design speed of 25 miles per hour within the subdivision, and the 12% slope for roadways within the subdivision, with the following conditions. Preliminary plat must address the following. Number 1, submission of roads, drainage, and erosion control plans for review and approval by the county. Number 2, construction plans for the turn lanes must be approved by TDOT prior to the submission of the preliminary plat. Number 3, submission of water plans for review and approval by Millcrofton Utility District. And number 4, submission of the applicable construction plans for the required wastewater disposal facilities to TDEC, the county's consultant, and staff. Final plat must address the following. Number 1, prior to the submittal of the first section of the proposed subdivision, a zoning certificate must be obtained for the completed wastewater treatment and disposal system. Prior to the issuance of the zoning certificate, the applicant shall provide the following. A letter from TDEC indicating the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system was installed and is functioning. B, as-built drawings showing the location of all system components and a sealed certification letter from the design engineer indicating that said system was constructed in accordance with the approved construction plans and specifications. C, a letter from the owner/utility provider indicating that it has accepted said system and is currently operating same. D, the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $102,300 for the addition to said system as it relates to the Fiddler's Glen development as specified by the county's wastewater consultant. E, the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $27,400 for landscaping improvements for the addition to the wastewater system as it relates to the Fiddler's Glen development. And F, execution of performance agreements for the above referenced sureties. Number 2, prior to consideration of final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The HOA documents must be submitted with the final plat, and the approved HOA documents must be recorded concurrently with the recording of the final plat. Number 3, prior to submittal of the first final plat, all off-site roadway improvements shall be completed to the satisfaction of TDOT. Number 4, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number 5, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Mill Crofton Utility District. Number 6, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. Number 7, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number 8, execution of performance agreement for the above referenced sureties. Number 9, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 10, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. We will open the public hearing for Fiddler's Glen at this time. We have one person signed up to speak. Sheila King, are you there? Ms. King?
I am.
You have the floor.
I'm Shayla King at 6330 Cox Road, Arrington, Tennessee. My husband and I own the property directly south of this proposed subdivision. We have one concern, and we know that there's a 150-foot peripheral buffer between the properties and a 36-foot or a 35-foot landscape buffer. On the plans, there is a walking trail that is within that landscape and peripheral buffer. And our concerns are either with the walking trail and just in general, the subdivision of, we really feel like there's a need for a fence there. That perimeter is a trail that people ride their horses on, and we sure don't want someone's dog to run over, get loose, spook a horse and get someone hurt, or in turn, a horse getting loose and going onto the Fiddler's Glen property and injuring someone there. So we're just asking if there's a way that a fence could be built on at least a portion of that, maybe behind lot 132, that corner of the property, at least to the woods where the walking trail or the cell tower is. I reached out to David Cummings, or Dave Cumming, and did not get an answer back. My understanding is he was a project manager for this. So I'm just asking if that is possible to add that to the subdivision plan.
Can you answer that?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, we do not have the authority to ask for the fence. It's not part of the buffering requirements. And oh, that's all, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this is Mike Madison. Just to add to what Aaron said, he's right that our zoning ordinance doesn't require any fencing, and so we can't require that of the developer. However, I do think that we could ask the developer to install a fence on that location, and if the commission feels like that's appropriate. Again, I don't think that can be imposed as a requirement, but if you feel like that would be beneficial, then it's appropriate, I believe, for you to ask the developer if he would at least look into that, if install that on his own.
Okay, that would be wonderful. I'd like to say, good fences make good neighbors, so we would love to avoid any future problems with any accidents occurring. I know no one wants that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any questions from the commission to the staff on this agenda item? Comments?
This
Discussion?
is,
I have a comment. It's Robin.
Go ahead.
Hey, Aaron, does the Fiddler's Glen, the main street going in, will it eventually tie in over to Arrington Ridge?
Yes, Commissioner Baldry, it will. It will. The two streets come together. As a matter of fact, the street in Arrington Ridge is called Fiddler's Glen Drive.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be
So yes,
another
ma'am.
access, I guess, basically out to Cox Road from that subdivision and vice versa.
Yes, ma'am, it will.
Okay.
Other questions, comments?
this is Rhonda Rose. If indeed then we were to address this fence issue, how do we go about asking the developer to address that?
I think that would be, if it is supported by the planning commission, that would be in the staff's hands to see if they can negotiate that with the developer. That's typically the way we approach that when we don't have the authority to require it, okay?
Uh-huh.
Other ones, anybody else got a comment on this fencing question's been raised? Anyone?
This is Rhonda again. I would like to make a motion that we would address this with the developer. And make that.
State your motion again, Rhonda.
My motion is that we would request the developer to consider including this fence in the plans.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
This is Brian Richter, second.
Motion made and seconded. Mike?
Mr. Chairman, just a point of order. This is Christy Ransom. Does the motion also include the staff recommendation to approve the concept plan? Because as I understand it, it's just related to the fencing.
That
And
is
that would be
correct.
the-
We haven't approved the concept plan yet. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
We have not. We need to do that first.
It would be appropriate for that motion to be a part of the overall approval of the concept plan if the planning commission chooses to do so.
Can we not do that separate?
Yeah, I mean, you can.
I would prefer to do it separate.
All right.
Let's go forward with this and then we'll come back to the concept plan. We have a motion and a second. Mike?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and just, I'd like to clarify something too, about the motion. I assume that what is meant is that between now and when they come in with a preliminary plat is when that discussion would take place, but it was a little bit unclear. I guess I just wanted to understand if that was the intention of Commissioner Rose.
Commissioner, did you hear that?
This is Rhonda, and I'm sorry I was interrupted. I didn't completely hear what you had to say, Mike.
I was just asking if the intention behind the motion is that we would have those discussions with the developer between the approval of the concept plan, we assume would come in the next motion, and at such time when they bring in a preliminary plat for the development.
Yes, that is my intention.
Thank you.
That motion, yes.
Mike,
Chairman,
call a roll on motion.
Yes, so start with Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
No.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Now we need a motion on the concept plan review, please, or more discussion if you choose. Any other comments, thoughts?
Mr. Chairman, this is Don Crohan. I make a motion, we accept staff's recommendation to concept plan on item 31.
This is Robin. I second it.
Motion made and seconded. Mike?
Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gibbons, I'm sorry, Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Continuing in the public hearings, agenda item 32, concept plan review for High Park Hill containing 157 lots on 161.03 acres located off of Murfreesboro Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
This is Aaron Holmes. Mr. Chairman, I'm reading from a revised report which Floyd has placed on the screen for you. The applicant is requesting approval of a 157 lot conservation subdivision in the Rural Development 1 zoning district. The review of a concept plan is the first stage in the development approval process. Because the concept plan contains more than 49 lots, a public hearing is required. The subject property totals approximately 161 acres and is located on Murfreesboro Road, approximately 3/10 of a mile east of the intersection of Murfreesboro Road and Wilson Pike. The Kings Chapel Development and Sycamore Farms Event Center adjoin the property to the east. The site contains a number of natural resources, including moderate and very steep slopes, a stream, floodplain, and areas of woodlands. Approximately 42% of the site is covered in tree canopy. The required 300-foot open space strip parallel to Murfreesboro Road and the required 150-foot open space strip around the perimeter of the property have been provided. The proposed development consists of 157 lots, which range in size from approximately 10,000 square feet to approximately 20,500 square feet. The overall density is 0.97 dwelling units per acre. 68% of the site will be preserved in open space and 69% of the existing tree canopy will be retained. The roads within this development will be private. A traffic impact analysis was conducted by the applicant and reviewed by the county's traffic engineering consultant. Because a contract for the Highway 96 widening project has now been let, the TIA uses the capacity of the future 5-lane section in the analysis, which is permitted based upon section 19.06 of the zoning ordinance. That zoning ordinance provision also states that the completion of the roadway project must precede the completion of the development. The TDOT contract specifies a project duration of 4 years. In order to align the pace of development with the projected pace of the roadway project, the county's traffic engineering consultant is recommending that the county only approve final plats for 25% of the total number of lots per year. This equates to 39 lots per year. Access to the proposed development will be provided from 2 entrances from Murfreesboro Road, and both a left and right turn lane are to be constructed at the easternmost entrance. Within the development, the applicant is requesting a right-of-way width of 40 feet in order to locate sidewalks outside of the right-of-way and a design speed of 25 miles per hour for internal roadways. Staff is in support of these requests. Water service will be provided by Millcrofton Utility District. Wastewater will be handled via a non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system for which a revised site plan was approved at the August 2019 meeting to accommodate the capacity of this additional development. The current STEG collection system will continue to be utilized, but the existing sand treatment area will be abandoned and replaced with an AMAX treatment system. An amended draft state operating permit has been issued by TDEC for the proposed system. A revised design development report was prepared by the applicant and submitted to the county. County's wastewater consultant has reviewed this report and is recommending approval. It should be noted that once detailed construction and engineering plans are prepared in conjunction with the submittal of a preliminary plat, changes to the layout, including the potential for a reduction of lots and relocation of drainage infrastructure, may be necessary. A landscaping plan will also be required. The applicant has recently discovered a gas line easement transecting the property. This discovery will require adjustments to the proposed layout, and therefore the applicant has requested action on this item be deferred until the September 2020 meeting. Staff concurs with this request. Additionally, as the public hearing for this item has been advertised, staff recommends the public hearing be held at this time.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to the public hearing at this time. We'll open the floor for the public hearing, rather. Our first speaker is Ginger Sherling. I remind you, you have 3 minutes. Ms. Sherling, you there? Hello? Ginger?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Hello? You can?
Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman Lackey. Ginger Sherling, 2227 Osborne Road. I did participate in the initial Williamson County Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Also, the Triune Special Area Advisory Committee, and participated in the 2040 updated Williamson County Land Use Plan. I'm lucky enough to be part of a 7-generation Osborne Road family on Osborne Road. What I'd like to mention to you today is that this proposed development gives a significant problem to the residents of the Triune Arrington area, as well as the Osborne Road homeowners that would be bordered. I feel confident that your staff will address the buffer zoned, the setback, and the density. My concern is that the old standards are in practice rather than the 2040 revised comprehensive land use plan. Williamson County completed a lengthy and exhaustive process, which I'm sure you all remember, and the improved plan was passed by the public, the planning commissioners, and the county commissioners. COVID-19, of course, has delayed the zoning regulations and ordinances needed to initiate the change. I understand we're close, very close to completion, yet numerous developments in the Triune area are rushing to submit prior to the changes. Triune residents see these dense developments as being a continuation of the problems that the 2040 plan was to change and address. Triune also is expecting the new Triune Special Area Plan to take effect. These citizens in Triune are not understanding the more dense developments that are flooding the rural area. Please consider a pause, some kind of transition period that would allow our county planners to use the improved 2040 plan. And I thank you for your time and the consideration.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Our next speaker, Diane Carter. Ms. Carter? You there? I'm gonna move on to the next one then. Tamala George. Ms. George? Last call. Apparently not. Fourth and final is Donnie Hedrick. Mr. Hedrick? Last call. We're going to close the public hearing at this time. Questions of staff from the commission, discussion, thoughts? Anyone?
This is Rhonda Rose again, and as a resident out in that area, I concur with Mrs. Sherling's comments. And I realize that we are currently under the current zoning regulations at this point, and those who apply to be approved during this time fall underneath that. But I really am hoping to see that the zoning regulations can be addressed and that meet the standards that are in those concept plans, that can all be addressed very soon and can be taken care of. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, this is Don Crohan. I have a question for staff. If there were no improvements to Highway 96, how many lots would be able to be approved at this time?
Mike, do you want to answer that? I,
Commissioner Crohan, I don't remember the exact number, but without the improvements to Highway 96, the number of lots would drop significantly.
Okay, the reason I'm asking this question, Mike, is the number that we're asked to approve on the first phase of this, does that fit into that category?
So I think I understand your question, and if this doesn't answer it fully, just let me know. But because the Highway 96 project is going forward and the contract has been let, the zoning ordinance allows us to, or not just allows us, but it suggests that that additional capacity be factored into the analysis. And so they're proposing a number of lots that is consistent with the capacity that will be made available with the Highway 96 widening project. However, as the staff report suggested, we didn't want a situation where those roadway improvements, which are expected to take about 4 years to build, we didn't want the development rather to be largely built out by that time, and therefore the development outpaces those roadway improvements, and that's why we're recommending the restriction on the number of lots per year, so that pace could be commensurate with the construction project. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, basically the 39 lots is what I was concerned about. If we go ahead with the 39 lots, would that be in compliance with what we have right now without the road improvements?
It would, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing is, and I'm concerned about this, and I understand what you've got here. Normally, we don't approve lots on a subdivision, I thought, until the off-site roadway improvements are made. And as we all know, a Highway 96 has been one of these things that's going to happen. And just because it's let out to the contractor to do, I'm concerned about if there's a stopping point, if they hit a snag or for some reason they can't accomplish this 5-lane highway.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You know, the way we've set it up is that they're only allowed a certain number of lots to be final platted per year, based on a 4-year construction project. But I suspect that if we find that that project is taking longer, that we can adjust that. I don't know if Chrissy, if you have any opinion on that or not.
Yes, I think we probably, sorry, this is Christy Ransom. I think we can do that. We just might want to add a condition of approval. And so let me work on the wording real quick.
Yeah, that's okay, Christy. I don't think, because this is going to be deferred, I think that's a good point, Don. And so maybe between now and next month, when action is taken, then we can maybe refine our recommendation to address that kind of potential outcome.
That would be fine. Thank you.
Yes, this is McCord. Is the question about timing on just getting the project finished or the funding of that?
Just the project. The funding has been made available and committed, and the contract has been let. I think Mr. Crohan was asking about the actual completion being according to schedule.
Well, there's a lot of variables in that, so I don't think you're going to be able to manage that.
You want to explain that, or you just want to leave it laying there?
I just I'm not sure how our body could have any kind of influence or expectations on what TDOT does and how they are able to proceed with their projects there.
We'll adjust as we go. That's the plan.
Mr. Chairman, this is Christy Ransom. Commissioner
Yes, ma'am.
McCord, the authority is not in relation to TDOT. The authority is in relation to what the Planning Commission allows final plats for. And so it is definitely within your ability to determine how many lots should be allowed in accordance with the construction process. Right now, we've been given a projected timeframe of 4 years, but I believe it's perfectly within your authority to have a condition of approval that could adjust that should the construction project be extended, especially since this provision, the zoning ordinance, is being utilized to adjust the shed to account for that construction. So without that construction, there would not be these lots. And so it would be within your authority to adjust those that are allowed in conjunction with the construction project. Thank you,
I
Mr.
Further discussion?
Yeah, can I just ask,
Commissioner, I had 3 in there.
sorry.
All right.
This is Rhonda
Go ahead.
Rose. I have a question regarding that piece. It says that there will be 2 entrances off Murfreesboro Road, but only left and right-hand turns for the one. Why would that not also be for the second one?
Staff?
That was determined by TDOT for the widening of the road. Mike, am I remembering that correctly?
Well, it may also be a function of how the traffic study was evaluated, but Commissioner Rose, that's not unusual, I think, in a circumstance like this where the majority of the traffic is going to and coming from the west. And so I didn't look at the exact recommendation recently, but so a lot of it would be expected to turn in that first entrance, I suspect. We'll get clarification on that, though, between now and next month from the traffic engineering consultant that reviewed the study on our behalf.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then a second question is, and I apologize, I'm not maybe able to read the maps very well, but this be connected in any way with King's Chapel so that there will be some, is there a shared street there between those two?
Commissioner Rose, at this time, there is not a connection between the two. King's Chapel will have to do an amended concept plan in order to do the connection. So at this time, there is not.
Do you have any idea if those folks are thinking along those lines?
Yes, ma'am, they are thinking of doing a connection between the two.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments? I hear none. Motion to defer.
Mr. Chairman, this is Don Crohan. I make a motion to defer item 32.
This is Brian Richter, second. Sammy, I'm second it.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. Mike, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Cohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes,
Commissioner,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Continuing on the agenda item 33, concept plan review for Duquette property containing 128 lots on 143.3 acres located off of Gossey Hill Road in the 12th voting district. Staff?
This is Aaron Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting approval of a 128-lot conservation subdivision in the Rural Development 1 zoning district. The review of a concept plan is the first stage in the development approval process. Because the concept plan contains more than 49 lots, a public hearing is required. The proposed development consists of 128 lots, which range in size from 10,500 square feet to approximately 4 acres. The overall density is 0.89 dwelling units per acre. The subject properties total 143 acres and are located at the intersection of Long Lane and Goosey Hill Road. The site contains a number of natural resources, including moderate and very steep slopes, streams, and large area of woodlands. Approximately 23% of the site is covered in tree canopy. Approximately 51% of the site will be preserved in open space, and approximately 70% of the existing tree canopy will be retained. The required open space strip around the perimeter of the property has been provided. Section 14.03F2 of the zoning ordinance allows the required open space strip parallel to Long Lane and Goosey Hill Road to be reduced from 350 feet to 210 feet if, number one, additional landscaping is provided such that homes in the subdivision will be unlikely to be seen from these roads once the landscaping reaches maturity, and two, the homes within the reduced open space strip must face the roads in question. Landscaping plan has been submitted that, in staff's opinion, contains sufficient materials to satisfy the first portion of this requirement. However, the concept plan does not show that the homes within the reduced open space strip will face Long Lane and Goosey Hill Road. Furthermore, the road layout in these areas is such that the only way this requirement could be met is for the back of the homes to face the internal street, which staff would not support. Based on this, staff does not feel that the requirements for the reduced open space strips along Long Lane and Goosey Hill Road have been met. The property is subject to the traffic shed methodology as outlined in Article 19 of the zoning ordinance. The traffic shed analysis indicates that the proposed number of lots is within acceptable limits based on the capacity of the existing roadways. Therefore, off-site road improvements are not required. In response to a request by staff, the applicant has provided right-of-way in order to accommodate a potential realignment at the intersection of Long Lane and Goosey Hill Road. Access to the proposed development will be provided by two entrances, one from Long Lane and the other from Goosey Hill Road. The County Highway Department has determined that adequate site distance exists at both entrances and has approved their location. Because this development will generate 50 or more peak hour trips, the applicant was required to provide an intersection analysis for these site entrances, which included an evaluation as to the necessity of turn lanes into the development. The intersection analysis indicated that turn lanes are not warranted based on projected traffic volumes. However, the applicant has agreed to install a right turn lane at both entrances to the development. These lanes are shown on the concept plan and will be incorporated into the conditions of approval for the development. Within the development, the applicant is requesting a right-of-way width of 40 feet in order to locate sidewalks outside of the right-of-way, a design speed of 25 feet for internal roadways. Staff is in support of these requests. The applicant is also requesting a reduction in cul-de-sac length for Towns Court. Staff does not feel there is sufficient justification to support this request. Water service will be provided by Millcrofton Utility District. Wastewater will be handled by a non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system for which a site plan was approved at the June 2020 meeting. Approximately 11.5 acres of the site will be utilized for the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system, which includes the land application area, treatment facility, and storage pond. The proposed system will utilize recirculating sand filter technology to treat wastewater generated by the proposed subdivision. A certificate of convenience and necessity has been approved by the Tennessee Public Utilities Commission, and a draft state operating permit has been issued by the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. A design development report, as well as a detailed soils investigation report, were prepared by the applicant and submitted to the county. County's wastewater consultant has reviewed these reports and has concluded that all zoning ordinance requirements related to the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal systems has been met. It is staff's opinion that the combination of distance, topography, and existing vegetation will serve to adequately screen the treatment system from adjacent properties. A landscaping plan for the non-traditional wastewater treatment and disposal system has been submitted and approved. It should be noted that once detailed construction and engineering plans are prepared in conjunction with the submittal of a preliminary plat, changes to the layout, including the potential for a reduction of lots and relocation of drainage and infrastructure from buffer areas, may be necessary. Additional landscaping plan for the perimeter open space strip will also be required. Because staff does not believe this proposal meets the requirements to allow a reduced open space strip along Long Lane and Ghosty Hill Road, and because Town's Court does not meet the cul-de-sac length requirements of subdivision regulations, staff cannot recommend approval of the concept plan at this time. Therefore, the applicant has requested that action on this item be deferred to the September meeting in order to adjust the plan. Staff concurs with this request.
Mike, do you want to go ahead with the public hearing?
Yes, sir. I think this is like the last item where since the public hearing was advertised and folks have signed up, I think it's appropriate to hold the public hearing this evening.
That's fine. Just want to check in. All right, we will open the floor for the public hearing at this time. I would remind you that you have 3 minutes to make your comments. First on the list is Andy Gilbert. Mr. Gilbert?
Hey, Mr. Chairman, can you hear me okay?
I can.
All right, thank you so much for the time. My name is Andy Gilbert. I live at 4395 Arno Road. I want to tell you guys how much I appreciate all the work that the commission does on behalf of the residents of Williamson County to preserve the quality of life that we've come to enjoy here for some time now. I'm a longtime resident of Franklin, Tennessee. I moved out to the Arno Road area about 13 years ago and built a beautiful place on about 30 acres. In the time that I've lived here, one of the things that I've found out about Arno Road is become one of the busiest and probably the most dangerous roads in the county, given the traffic that flows between 840 and Highway 96. And given a lot of the recent development, whether it's the elementary school or other housing developments in the area, we've seen a continued growth in the amount of traffic on our road and the surrounding areas. And given the short notice, I feel like that this development was sort of given to us. It feels as if, and I think some of my neighbors would agree with this, that it sort of was slipped in prior to the 5-acre lot size issue going into effect. And so, to keep this brief, myself and my neighbors are hopeful that the commission continues to do what it always does in preserving the quality of life, but also follows all the appropriate procedures for the approval or not of this particular plat. And lastly, I would just say that, my biggest concern here is that it's going to create, in addition to impacting our quality of life, it's going to create a more dangerous situation with respect to the roadways in and around the Arno Road and Long Lane and Ghosty Hill area. And I would strongly encourage the commission to not approve this development. And so I just want to end by saying thank you very much for your time and for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Next on the list is Susanna, and I hope I do this right, Flott. Is that correct?
That is correct. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, y'all. Like he said, my name is Susanna Flott. I live at 4550 Long Lane, directly across from the property in question, and I've actually lived here for 27 years. So I've been enjoying that property and how gorgeous it is for a really long time. It's a beautiful example of Williamson County land. And I have been looking over the site plans and the Williamson County zoning ordinance. And to me, I feel like the neighborhood is in opposition to several things that are in it. Obviously, y'all are more familiar with the document than I am, but the things that I noticed that I just wanted to bring up are in section 1.03E, which states regarding the bulk, scale, and density of both new and existing structures to preserve the desired character of the community. And this neighborhood, if anything, I feel like is damaging to the rural character, not preserving, as it states in E, as there is nothing else similar to it in our area outside of city limits. And there's not going to be any more because of the Williamson 2040 that's going to be going through. So long term, I feel like it's going to be a bizarre town-like addition to our rural farmland. And then also in F, it states providing suitable transition between areas of different community character. And as previously stated, there's no transition whatsoever. The small houses going on 0.3 acre lots look like they're plans for inside city limits, not seamlessly blending in the current community. And then also in G, it states preserving and enhancing the county's overall rural character. I can see pretty much every inch of that property from a good stretch of Long Lane and a good stretch of Goosey Hill. And so I know when those houses get built, you're going to be able to see it as well. All those houses, even if you do a tree line, the top of that hill, you know, you see the whole valley, which is just gorgeous. So to me, that's in opposition. I think it's going to make a dramatic change to the character of our community. And I think it is in opposition to where it states that it will be preserving and enhancing the character. And then also in J, it says that it is protecting and enhancing the taxable value of land and building. And in this rural farmland, to have those houses on teeny lots all crammed together right next door will drastically diminish our property values. And I haven't even mentioned, I know the roadways have been a concern, especially with more than just this development, but there are a couple other ones that are going to be impacting our roads as well. So I know that's a really big concern, as well as the environmental impact that it's going to have. So to me, I just don't know how a neighborhood like this can be in accordance with the Williamson County zoning ordinance. So those are my thoughts, and just wanted to share them, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is Ed Cooper.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ed Cooper. My family has lived at 4328 Goosey Hill Road for 21 years. I'm a Tennessee licensed civil engineer with 30 plus years of experience in the development of industrial, residential, and commercial sites. I served as 6 years as city engineer for Hendersonville. I've been on every side of the land development process during my career. I'm very concerned with what is planned on the Duquette property for the following reasons. Number one, zoning incompatibility. When the general public hears about 1 acre zoning, the perception is 1 residence per acre. This plan is based on 1/3 acre lots or 3 lots per acre. While technically equivalent when considering open space requirements, the visual perception can be dramatically different for surrounding property owners. Number two, sewage treatment. This commission recently approved an alternative wastewater treatment system to serve this development. The use of these systems allows dramatic increases in true lot density. Developers love high density. It dramatically increases their profits. I suspect that the primary reason for its use here, though, is that large portions of this property aren't capable of supporting conventional septic tank systems. This area is known for poorly drained soils with a rock line just beneath the ground surface in a lot of places. Number three, traffic. None of the roads bordering this proposed development were designed as collectors for traffic coming through the general area. In fact, most of these roads were never designed at all. They just evolved from farm roads built decades ago. They won't be able to support more traffic without major modifications, which is going to cost somebody millions of dollars someday. Number four, the impact on adjacent properties. The plan as currently submitted has 22 lots whose rear and side yards face either Goosey Hill Road or Long Lane, where reduced open space has also been proposed. The staff feels that this arrangement does not meet current requirements. I agree completely. While the wastewater treatment and dispersal systems are located west of Toon Creek, a wastewater storage pond is shown on the east side within 100 feet of Goosey Hill Road. This pond will apparently hold thousands of gallons of untreated wastewater in the event of a problem with the treatment or dispersion systems. Smell will be an issue, and during our annual flood event, this pond has a very good chance of emptying its completely untreated wastewater contents directly into Toon Creek. Toon Creek drains 1,700 acres, eventually joining the Harpeth River north of Creekside Elementary School. The plans included in your packet did not address stormwater management or landscaping at all. I would ask the Planning Commission to defer action and make these documents available for public review online prior to any approval. Finally, there are many of us who choose to live out in the country. Please don't let signature homes turn our country neighborhood into an extension of Franklin. While I certainly respect my neighbors' rights to sell or develop their property as they see fit, Signature Homes should either follow the rules as written or find another site where they can. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Linda Moriarty?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 4496 Gosi Hill Road. I am not a longtime resident. I am a brand new resident of this area. And as Ed said, and Susanna said, we moved here in order to, be in the country. And I think this development does contradict the overall Williamson County 2040 plan. I agree, like I said, with everything that Ed is saying, especially about the traffic. In just the short time that we have been here, Creekside Elementary School was built, which is terrific. However, it never really even got a chance to open due to COVID. So I know the traffic study that was done in the area was on a day in January before the school opened and in March of this year. So kind of not representative of what the traffic is really going to be. Both Long Lane and Gosi Hill are narrow, no shoulders, hilly and curvy. So they are now even dangerous roads to drive on, let alone, adding a development this big at the corner of those two roads. And last, so in regards to Toon Creek, yes, it does. We all know it flows into the Harpeth, and that, Ed's concerns, I think, are very valid as far as stormwater is concerned. And I would imagine that TDEC needs to approve this as well. So that's a little, wasn't ever talked about. And then as far as, the landscaping, it says that, it's to provide a buffer, when it's mature. How long, that could take 5-10 years for landscaping to mature. And if it's not irrigated in the summer heat, we all know that things die, and that's, it's going to present an ugly picture to our rural community. I think that's all I have to say for today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Kim Monks, please.
Hey, thank you guys so much. I'm Kim Monks. I'm on Crowder Road, and I've lived on Crowder Road for 26 years. Thanks for letting me speak. I want to address the traffic study that was done because I think that it was inadequate. It's already been stated, but I'll state again. Creekside Elementary was only at half capacity when the study was done. COVID-19 pandemic had the entire state shut down on March 25th, 2020 when the second set of data was collected. So they grew the data to match the other collected data from January 14th. So in other words, I think they guessed. The comprehensive land use plan is changing how the county evaluates the effects of traffic generated by new development. So this tells me that the Planning Commission recognizes the flaws in the analysis. Increased traffic patterns lead to a negative impact on road conditions and adversely affects safety of drivers, especially our young drivers who are heading to Page High School, work, home, and their extracurricular events, which is a concern. The plan calls for preserving rural character in outlying areas and focusing the majority of new growth in and around the municipalities where infrastructure is in place. So changing how the county evaluates the effects of traffic generated by new development is a thing that the new plan has addressed. Going forward, my understanding is that the focus then will shift to the character of our neighborhoods in rural Williamson County, as well as considering all development in an area and the combined impact, especially on traffic and roads, instead of just the one in question. So just considering the current traffic patterns that weren't represented properly in the study, I do not believe that the concept plan at its current listed density of homes is a plausible expectation. understanding that property owners have the right to sell their land, and I hope that the Duquette family can realize a great return on their investment. I just don't think it is feasible to put 128 homes on that property without negatively impacting the neighborhood. Realistically, the development, if it must move forward at all, should only have maybe 60 homes. Even better would be if it fell into the 5-acre per home zoning, which would be around 28 homes. That would definitely fit the quality and character that exists in the neighborhood today. So please don't let this concept plan for Duquette property be approved as is. It is business as usual as far as I can tell. Just one more high density subdivision to squeak by the current zoning restrictions before they change. This is not representative of the philosophy of land management in rural Williamson County. This plan does not embody the quality and character of growth for which Williamson County is renowned. This plan does not support the county's rural preservation efforts or its natural resource protection. This plan should not be approved as it is presented with its current density of homes. And in order to protect the quality of living and character of the neighborhood and the valuable investment of the current owners, the developers need to go back to the drawing board and start again, especially with the traffic study post-COVID-19 and after the school has reached its full potential. So thank you so much for letting me speak. I love Crowder Road and I want to protect it as much as I can. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Mike Grant.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Chairman Lackey and the Planning Commission. My name is Mike Grant. I live on 5 acres off of Goosey Hill Road in Franklin. Toon Creek runs through my backyard. My kids play in it. They catch frogs, et cetera, et cetera. And I moved here about 6 years ago now, attracted by the rural character of this area. I am speaking in firm opposition to the 128 house development on the Duquette property. And I think others probably can speak more knowledgeably about the technical risks of the sewage plan in close proximity to Toon Creek, which floods annually, the inadequacies of the traffic report, which I think were laid out quite well by several other people in this neighborhood, and just the overall density of the housing, and frankly, the farcical use of our zoning codes to allow the developer to treat areas that are unbuildable as conservation land. They really should not be able to count that towards conservation credit whatsoever. But my first point is simple. Make Williamson 2040, the comprehensive land use plan, mean something. After years of dragging its feet, as far as I can tell, Williamson County finally did hear the people, and they did adopt in March 9th and 12th are the dates that they adopted the Williamson 2040 plan. You all have your names on that document. I've read the document. The document is actually a well-crafted, very positive document. So I appreciate you all, getting that document done. But now we have to make it mean something. Make your votes mean something. Don't make it just a clarion call to the developers to go ahead and spring as many of these as possible onto us and do it so fast here. This past Sunday, I went on my usual bike ride, and I was dismayed at the large number of for sale signs placed in front of large parcels in this area. We're talking about on Paytonsville Road, Meeks Road, Cox Road, Long Lane, Paytonsville Trinity Road. They all have large signs out there. I won't name the developer, I won't name the firms, but we've all seen them. I could go on, and I think you all have to recognize that an approval of the Duquette signature development here is basically just precedent setting. It's going to allow every one of these other developers to squeak in under the wire as well and avoid the 5-acre zoning, which is what you all intended to have to be it. So let's not let this set a negative precedent. You are not just voting about the 128 homes that are part of Duquette. You're really voting about this entire portion of Williamson County right here. Second point is that the development it's positive, very positive, I'm sure, for Signature Homes and out-of-state developer. It's very negative for the people who actually live here, for the taxpayers, for your citizens. They're able to go ahead and extract all of their money, but we're the ones that have to foot the bill for a lot of things. So we do have some funds now that come in towards schools, probably an inadequate amount, frankly, definitely an inadequate amount for the roads, which are going to continue to see cars from cars from Starnes Creek, cars from so many of the other developments. But there are a lot of other items that were not addressed. So I have been a soccer coach, a youth soccer coach in Williamson County for a number of years. I stopped coaching. I cannot find a field to coach on. So we have literally thousands of new homes that have come in east of I-65. We don't have a single new soccer field for kids to play on. That's tragic. Rec centers. So there are rec centers in other parts of town. All the development, or a huge part of the development, is going on in this part of the county, in this part of Franklin. We don't have a rec center serving all of these new people. These to me are, yes.
You're well over your time.
Am I? Well, I apologize for that.
That's why I said.
Okay, well, let me just say thank you for doing what you're doing, and I
Thank you.
urge you to vote against this development.
Thank you. Catherine Flott? Catherine Flott? Are you there? Apparently not. Mr. Bernie? Mr. Bernie? Tracy Bernie? Thank you. We'll close the public hearing at this time. Staff, we had a motion to defer. And can I hear that, please? Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to defer item 33 until the September meeting.
Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman,
sir.
Brian Richter, second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Mike, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Under preliminary plats, agenda item 34, preliminary plat review, excuse me, revised for enclave at Dove Lake Phase 2 containing 70 lots on 40.26 acres located off of Knowlesville Road in the 5th voting district. Staff?
This is Aaron Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A preliminary plat for this development was approved at the May 2017 meeting. The applicant is now requesting revised preliminary plat approval to reduce the number of lots from 71 to 70 to accommodate larger lots and increase the amount of open space by approximately 0.25 acres for a total of approximately 15 acres of open space. Staff recommends approval of this revised preliminary plat. In conjunction with final plat consideration, the following items must be addressed. Number one, prior to submittal of a final plat, the turn lane improvements on Nolensville Road must be completed in accordance with the approved plans. Number two, prior to consideration of final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The approved HOA documents must be recorded concurrently with the final plat. Number three, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number four, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Nolensville College Grove Utility District. Number five, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. Number six, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number seven, dedication of right-of-way 60 feet off the center line of Nolensville Road. Number eight, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number nine, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept staff's recommendation on item 34.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Mike, call the roll.
Yes, sir, and I have temporarily misplaced my roll sheet, so bear with me. I'm doing this from memory. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes.
Did I leave anybody out?
Brian Richter.
Commissioner Richter, yes.
Commissioner Richter.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 35, preliminary plat review, McDaniel Estates, Phase 4, containing 48 lots on 24.1 acres located off McDaniel Road in the 11th voting district. Staff.
This is Aaron Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A concept plan for this development was approved at the February 2017 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for the fourth phase of the development, which consists of 48 lots and approximately 9 acres of open space. During the concept plan stage, the Planning Commission added the condition of approval that a requirement that all sufficient rights-of-way or easements needed to complete the required off-site roadway improvements as specified in the traffic impact analysis review letter from the county traffic consultant had to be obtained prior to the submittal of the preliminary plat containing the 87th lot. During the submittal of the preliminary plat for the third phase of this development, which contained the 87th lot, the applicant demonstrated that all rights-of-way or easements needed for said off-site roadway improvements, which include intersection improvements at Arnold Road and McDaniel and Meeks Roads, has been acquired. The engineer for the Williamson County Highway Department confirmed that rights-of-way or easements necessary to complete the improvements were in place. Additionally, the Highway Commission has approved the design plans for these improvements. The preliminary plat is consistent in layout with that depicted on the approved concept plan. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat with the following conditions, which shall be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. Number 1, prior to consideration of the final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The HOA documents must be submitted with the final plat, and the approved documents must be recorded concurrently with the recording of the final plat. Number 2, all off-site improvements as specified in the traffic impact analysis review letter from the county's traffic consultant must be completed in accordance with the approved plans. Number 3, establishment of performance bonds for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number 4, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Millcrofton Utility District. Number 5, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. Number 6, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number 7, execution of performance agreements for the above referenced sureties. Number 8, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number 9, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, Aaron. Questions of staff?
I have a
Rhonda?
question.
This is Ron. Go ahead, Robin.
Okay, thanks, Rhonda. It's Robin. So as far as the 87th lot and all the right-of-ways being obtained now, the intersection of Arno, Meeks, and McDaniel, they're still in the process of, creating that new intersection. So we're like, how long is it going to take for them to be completed with that? How does that affect them moving forward with now continuing to build on the lots out there? Because I live right here, so I drive it every day and see it. So they're making great progress for sure. It's like every day it's fast, which is great. So where is that? They're not going to have to complete that before they continue building, or they're getting to continue to build because they've obtained all the right of ways and they've begun construction. Kind of speak to that just a little bit, Aaron, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Commissioner Baldry, they cannot submit the final plat for the third phase of the development until all of the roadway improvements have been completed. So they will not be able, once they finish building out what's already final platted, that's it until the roadway improvements have been completed and approved by the Highway Department.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is Rhonda. I think my question maybe goes along with that same one. Is that item number, I'm looking at item number 2 there. Offsite improvements is specified in the traffic impact analysis review. My question was, do we have any idea of a timeline on that, when that's to be completed?
Commissioner, let me have either Floyd Heflin or William Andrews answer that. They're more in tune with what is the project's completion date than I am.
This is Floyd. I know that they're obviously wanting to get it done as quickly as possible, and they periodically tell us that they're essentially done, which obviously, if you've seen Arno and Meeks and Daniel intersection, it's not almost done. But I have no idea how long it's going to take them to do that, but maybe there's someone with the applicant that is on the call that could give us an update on that.
Casey Leroy, are you with us?
Apparently not.
This is Robin again. They definitely are not almost finished. I concur with Floyd because like I said, I drive by it every day and they're making great progress. It's gonna look great, but I can't even imagine they're halfway. I don't know, Rhonda. I know you drive out that way. Maybe 60%.
Well, it's just, so I guess I understand from Aaron, from what you told Robin a minute ago, that this cannot be the final plat cannot be approved until all that intersection is taken care of, all that construction.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. They can't submit any of the final plats for any of the sections after the 87th lot until all of the improvements are completed. So at present, we're holding them up on that 87th lot right now.
Thank you for making that clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Other comments? Motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Don Crohan. I move we accept staff's recommendation on item 35.
Second.
Commissioner Richter.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Mike?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lack.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 36 under preliminary plats. Preliminary plat review for McDaniel Estate, Phase 5, containing 33 lots on 26.9 acres, located off McDaniel Road in the 11th voting district. Staff?
This is Aaron Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A concept plan for this development was approved at the February 2017 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for the 5th phase of the development, which consists of 33 lots and approximately 16 acres of open space. During the concept plan stage, the Planning Commission added the condition of approval that a requirement that all sufficient rights-of-way or easements needed to complete the required off-site roadway improvements as specified in the traffic impact analysis review letter from the county's traffic consultant had to be obtained prior to the submittal of the preliminary plat containing the 87th lot. During the submittal of the preliminary plat for the 3rd phase of this development, which contained the 87th lot, the applicant demonstrated that all rights-of-way or easements needed for said off-site roadway improvements, which include the intersection improvements at Arno Road and McDaniel and Meeks Roads, had been acquired. The engineer for the Williamson County Highway Department confirmed that rights-of-way or easements necessary to complete the improvements were in place. Additionally, the Highway Commission has approved the design plans for these improvements. Preliminary plat is consistent in layout with that depicted on the approved concept plan. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat with the following conditions, which shall be addressed in conjunction with final plat consideration. Number one, prior to consideration of final plat approval, the applicant shall submit HOA documents for review and approval by the county attorney's office. The HOA documents must be submitted with the final plat, and the approved HOA documents must be recorded concurrently with the recording of the final plat. Number two, all off-site improvements as specified in the traffic impact analysis review letter from the county's traffic consultant must be completed in accordance with the approved plans. Number three, establishment of a performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control. Number four, establishment of a performance bond for water improvements in favor of Millcrofton Utility District. Number five, establishment of a performance bond for the wastewater collection system. Number six, submission of landscaping plans and establishment of a performance bond for landscaping. Number seven, execution of a performance agreement for the above referenced sureties. Number eight, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. And number nine, submission of the approved final plat in DWG format on recordable media based on the Tennessee State Plan Coordinate System prior to signature and recording of the plat.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Comments, suggestions?
So is, this
Anyone?
again, so is, this dependent again upon those improvements made at that intersection at Meeks Road and Arno Road and McDaniel Road?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, you broke up while you were asking the question.
Sure. Is this again, the final plat approval dependent upon those improvements that are being made at that intersection at Arno and Meeks Road and Daniel?
Yes, ma'am, they are. So we won't accept the final plat until those improvements are completed.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Dog just voted.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept staff's recommendation on item 36.
I'll second it. It's Robin.
Motion made and second. Thank you. Mike, call a roll.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Under final plats, agenda item 37, final plat review, revised Falls Grove, section 6, containing 64 lots on 81.14 acres located off of Udaly Covington Road in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
This is Aaron Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A final plat for this section of the development was approved at the March 2020 meeting. The applicant is now requesting revised final plat approval for this section of the development to remove 2 lots in order to reserve an area for a potential future connection to an adjoining property. This section consists of 64 lots and approximately 54 acres of open space. No other changes to the plat are proposed. All applicable performance agreements have been received and applicable bonds have been posted. Staff recommends approval with the same conditions established in conjunction with the original approval.
Questions of staff? Motion?
This is Rhonda again. What is the potential future connection? What adjoining property would that be?
Mike, do you know the name of the family that it adjoins?
I don't know.
Rogers.
Go ahead.
Joe said Rogers.
It's the Rogers property to the south. It's on, Floyd, if you'll scroll the plat up to show where T15 is, please. So, yes, that property there and wrapped around is the Rogers property, Commissioner. And that's the future potential connection.
So is the Rogers family considering development of that property then? Is that why they're seeking a connection there?
As I understand it, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, the developer has approached them regarding development of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Other questions? Comments? Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Don Crowe, I move we accept staff's recommendation on item 37.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Mike?
Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. That concludes the regular agenda. Under other business is our election of officers. I would ask that all those campaign signs that you put out be gathered up before dark. We need a nomination for a chairmanship of the Planning Commission.
Mr. Chairman, this is Don Crowe, I nominate John Lackey for
I
chairmanship.
know. Any
Second.
other nominations? Anyone? Surely there's somebody better. We'll close the nomination.
Definitely not.
I'm sorry?
I said definitely not.
Yeah, come on now. Mike, do we, I guess we got to call a roll here too. Call a roll.
Yes, we do. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
He's not here.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The next one be for vice chairman. Nominations, please.
Chairman Lackey, it's Robin.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to nominate Sammy McCoy for vice chair. Felt like when we had a literally last minute call for a step-in chairman, yourself and current vice chair were unable to attend one of our very first virtual meetings. Sammy stepped up to the podium quickly and didn't skip a beat. And I think he learned from the best, you and Don. So I'd like to recommend and nominate Sammy McCoy for vice chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other nominations? Any others? I hear none. Prepare to vote. Mike?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Sammy McCoy is elected vice chair, and for secretary, who is secretary now? Mike, is that you?
Chairman Lackey, yes, I am, and I think the planning director kind of needs to be, so I didn't put out too many.
Did you nominate yourself?
No, sir.
Chair would entertain a motion to nominate Mike as secretary.
Second.
Anyone? Y'all going to sleep?
I'm Rhonda Rock. I second that. Is that a second?
Thank you.
Sounds like a second.
I don't think I got it first. Oh, we have a motion and a second. Mike, take the roll.
Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Thank you. The motion carries. We currently have the same situation for Secretary Pro Tem, and that's Aaron. I'd like a motion to that effect, please. To
Mr.
nominate.
Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. There's a second.
And I
Thank
second
you.
that motion.
We got 3 seconds. We're in good shape.
A couple of times.
Mike, take the roll. It's getting late.
Commissioner Crohan,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner McCoy,
Yes.
Commissioner Richter,
Yes.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
and Chairman Lackey.
Yes. Aaron is our Secretary Pro Tem. Any other business? Anybody want to go home? Oh, y'all all at home, excuse me. I'm going home. Have a good evening. Good night.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.